All right, let's dive into one of the oldest and frankly, darkest stories ever told. So, you know the story of Adam and Eve getting cast out of paradise, right? Well, what happened next? That's what we're talking about today. A whole new chapter for humanity begins. But with the first family and the first brothers comes, you guessed it, the very first crime.
So, let's set the scene. Adam and Eve, they are not in the Garden of Eden anymore. Not by a long shot. Life is hard now. I mean, they're working the land, raising animals, just trying to survive. And it's right in the middle of this harsh, new reality that their first two sons are born, Cain and Abel.
So first up, the first brothers. A new generation is born, but an unhealthy rivalry begins. Let's get to know these two and see how a pretty normal family situation, well, it spiraled into something that would stain the course of human history.
Okay, so you've got two brothers, and they took two very different paths. Cain, he's the farmer, the tiller of the soil. Abel, on the other hand, he becomes a shepherd, a keeper of the flocks. But the difference wasn't just about their jobs, right? It went way deeper. Abel is described as this pleasant, generous guy. Cain had this dangerous jealousy that was already starting to bubble up under the surface.
And this quote right here really gets to the heart of it. An unhealthy competition was growing up in Cain's mind towards his brother. See, this wasn't some friendly sibling rivalry. The key word here is unhealthy. It was something dark, something festering inside Cain's head. And that internal conflict, that is the tiny seed for the absolute tragedy that's about to unfold.
Next up, the unfavored offering, where a single act of worship reveals a deep division. All that hidden tension we were just talking about, it's about to come right out into the open. And the trigger is something that seems pretty simple, really. Both brothers decide to present an offering to God. But this one act, it's going to set in motion a terrible chain of events.
And wow, the difference between their offerings is just night and day. Abel brings his very best, a fat, smart goat. He's showing real generosity, real respect. Then you have Cain. He brings some vegetables that, get this, seemed not to be fresh. It's an offering that just screams a lack of care. So what's the result? God is well pleased with Abel and his gift. But for Cain's, God shows no pleasure at all. And just like that, the division between them is out there for everyone to see.
So how does Cain handle this rejection? Does he stop and think, maybe I should have put in more effort? Nope, he goes straight to rage. The text says it made Cain very angry and downcast. All that jealousy and resentment is just boiling over now and is pushing him right to a breaking point.
This next moment is so pivotal. God speaks directly to Cain. He warns him, saying, sin is lurking in the door, you must control it. Think about that for a second. God doesn't just condemn him, he lays out a choice. He's basically saying, hey, this is on you. You have to be the one to control this. The responsibility is put squarely on Cain's shoulders.
All right, part 3, a brother's betrayal. The first crime on earth is committed. So, did Cain take God's advice and choose control? No, he chose betrayal. At the story's climax, Cain goes to his brother, but not with an apology, with a deceptive invitation to go out into the fields together.
And you can see it unfold in these 3 tragic steps. First, there's the lure. Come on, let's go to the fields. Sounds innocent enough. Then they reach the location, a desolate no man's land where no one can see or hear them. And finally, in that isolation, the crime. The unthinkable happens. Cain attacks and murders his own brother.
The horrible deed is done, but the story isn't over. Not even close. God confronts Cain, and he doesn't start with an accusation. He starts with a simple, piercing question. Where is your brother Abel? It's like he's giving Cain one last chance to just confess.
And here it is. Cain's response is one of the most iconic, defiant, and chilling lines in history. Instead of remorse, he lashes out with a question that has echoed through millennia. Am I my brother's keeper? He's not just denying his crime, he's denying any responsibility for another human being.
So what happens now? Let's talk about the mark of Cain, because the aftermath is this really complex story of punishment, but also of a strange, really unexpected mercy. So first up is the curse, and it's tied directly to who Cain is. Remember, he's a farmer. He relies on the ground. Well, now that very ground is cursed for him. It won't yield its strength for him anymore. He's condemned to be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. Basically, a homeless outcast, forever on the move. And the reality of this punishment hits Cain hard. He is terrified. He realizes that as a wanderer and outcast, he is completely vulnerable. He's convinced that
Anyone who meets me may kill me. He thinks it's a death sentence, and he essentially begs for his life.
But what's really fascinating is God's response. It is not what you might expect. God places a mark on Cain. But get this, it's not a mark of shame. It's a sign of protection. It's a divine warning to everyone else not to harm him. It's this moment of profound and honestly pretty puzzling mercy.
And so his final fate is sealed. Cain is banished. He goes away from the presence of the Lord and settles in the land of Nod, a name that itself means wandering. And this land is located east of Eden, forever outside the paradise his parents once knew.
And that brings us to the powerful conclusion of this whole story. This wasn't just a family squabble. This is the origin story of human violence, jealousy, and murder. With this act, sin is no longer just lurking at the door. It has busted into the world in a brutal and undeniable way. So why does this ancient story still matter so much? Because it leaves us with a question for our own lives. It challenges us to answer the one question Cain refused to. Am I my brother's keeper? Can we, in our own world, bother a bit about our siblings too? Now that is a question worth thinking about.